The CEO of Honda recently made a surprising announcement declaring the immediate closure of their entire electric vehicle division. This decision has left many in the automotive industry bewildered. The reason behind this bold move? CEO Toshiba holds a staunch opposition to EVs, believing that the current state of internal combustion engines still has a long road ahead. He argues against the push for costly EVs on the middle class, urging political leaders to exercise caution. In an unexpected twist, other major automakers like Ford and GM have followed suit, halting their electric vehicle production as well. This collective action raises concerns about the potential collapse of the entire EV sector. What motivates the Honda CEO to halt EV production? Could there be a hidden agenda favoring combustion engines? Honda's stance against electrification stems from its reluctance to endorse expensive EVs with limited range. Instead, they are directing their efforts toward developing a revolutionary EV alternative, which could either catapult the company to success or disrupt the entire EV market. So, what exactly unfolded? Honda scrapped a whopping $5 billion plan dedicated to EV production, sending shockwaves through investors. Their collaboration with GM, aimed at creating affordable electric vehicles, was abandoned approximately 18 months after its public announcement. Initially, the plan involved leveraging GM's Ultium battery technology to manufacture EVs priced below $30,000. However, several market challenges, including escalating costs, inadequate infrastructure, and sluggish consumer demand, influenced this decision. Why did Honda withdraw from the partnership? The CEO's skepticism revolves around the practicality of EVs in the American market, given the current state of charging infrastructure and the premium pricing strategy adopted by automakers across the board. Another significant concern revolves around the low demand and considerable consumer backlash towards EVs. Companies such as Ford and GM mistakenly assumed that people would blindly purchase anything labeled as electric, even at exorbitant prices. However, reality proved otherwise. Despite the termination of this specific EV initiative, it's crucial to note that other collaborations between GM and Honda remain unaffected. For example, GM is gearing up to produce the 2024 Honda Prologue EV, slated to debut in the coming months. This decision also serves the interests of GM, a company facing considerable challenges under the leadership of CEO Mary Barra. GM recently incurred a hefty fine of over $100 million for producing substandard vehicles that posed risks to consumers. Additionally, ongoing worker strikes by the United States auto workers have been costing the company a staggering $200 million per week. Honda, renowned for its reputation of delivering reliable quality, understandably hesitates to rush into electrification and risk tarnishing its image. It's noteworthy that Honda is not alone in recalibrating its EV strategy. Even Ford and its partner GM have made recent adjustments to their EV agendas. GM, traditionally a powerhouse in the automotive industry, has opted to scale back its EV production in North America due to lower than expected demand. This strategic shift is projected to save the automaker a significant $1.5 billion in 2024. Initially, GM had ambitious plans to sell 400,000 EVs in North America from 2022 until mid-2024, with an additional target of producing 100,000 EVs in the latter half of 2023 alone. However, production delays are now anticipated for new models like the Equinox EV, Silverado EV, and GMC Sierra EV. GM, in collaboration with Honda, is gearing up to introduce another vehicle boasting a range of over 500 miles, providing stiff competition for EVs. However, more details on this development will be shared shortly. Recent announcements have shed light on GM's decision to postpone the production of electric trucks near Detroit. This adjustment aims to ensure better capital management in response to what GM perceives as lower demand for electric trucks. Despite this delay, GM has allocated a substantial $35 billion towards its electrification plans until 2025, with the overarching goal of achieving full electrification by 2035. Nevertheless, their commitment faces challenges due to labor strikes, resulting in an $800 million reduction in pre-tax earnings this year alone, with an additional anticipated weekly loss of $200 million. Similarly, Ford is proceeding cautiously with its EV strategy. The company recently revealed a delay in its ambitious $12 billion spending plan dedicated to EV manufacturing capacity. Ford's primary concerns revolve around the high costs associated with electric vehicles and the noticeable slowdown in demand. As part of this cautious approach, Ford has halted the construction of a new battery factory in Kentucky and abandoned the target of producing 2 million EVs by 2026. In a world rapidly transitioning towards electrification, Honda's CEO, Toshihiro Maibe, has made a bold statement, signaling a divergence in Honda's approach to achieving carbon neutrality. Maibe, in a recent clarification, outlined Honda's objective, which is to achieve carbon neutrality rather than focusing solely on building EVs. This stance marks a notable departure from the prevailing sentiment in the automotive industry. While many governments and corporations are aggressively promoting EV adoption, Honda's CEO suggests that this unilateral approach may be flawed. MEBA highlighted concerns about the rush towards electrification, citing inadequacies in charging infrastructure that could hinder customer satisfaction. With over 3 decades dedicated to engine development, MEIB acknowledged his personal bias, admitting to feeling somewhat threatened by the shift. However, he emphasized that Honda isn't opposed to EVs, but advocates for a diversified approach to meet customer needs. What's particularly intriguing is Honda's significant strides in developing alternative fuels, which they believe could rival EVs. They have seen promising sales of their combustion vehicles, showing a 32% year-over-year improvement. Additionally, their hybrids are being touted as a more efficient alternative to reducing CO2 emissions. Despite previously dismissing hydrogen fuels due to technological challenges, Honda has made substantial investments in this area, now claiming to have overcome these obstacles and potentially offering another viable alternative to traditional EVs. Insider reports suggest that Honda is in the process of developing an engine prototype designed to be integrated with internal combustion vehicles. This innovative engine could potentially reduce emissions by up to 90%. Additionally, Honda has plans to introduce several new fuel cell electric vehicles in 2024, which I'll delve into later in this discussion. However, there's another significant reason why Honda's CEO is skeptical about an all-electric future. Despite claims of zero tailpipe emissions, there's a darker side to EVs that often goes unnoticed. The production of EV batteries requires significant amounts of lithium, cobalt, and nickel, which results in a carbon footprint 60% higher than that of traditional petrol cars. Moreover, the mining of these minerals, particularly in regions like Congo, imposes dangerous conditions on vulnerable communities. Honda's overarching strategy has always been to offer affordable mobility solutions. They acknowledge the inflated costs associated with EVs, with even budget options often exceeding the $40,000 mark globally. Honda adapts its approach based on regional dynamics. For instance, Europe and California are moving towards banning combustion vehicles, while China's generous incentives are shaping Honda's plan to launch 10 electric models by 2028. Addressing technological advancements, Honda, traditionally perceived as lagging behind, has embarked on strategic partnerships. One notable collaboration is with Sony, leading to the establishment of Sony Honda Mobility Inc. This software-focused mobility tech company aims to introduce a new EV in the US and Japan by 2026, integrating Level 3 automated driving technology and exploring the potential of the metaverse to enhance driving experiences. Furthermore, Honda is revitalizing its sports car lineup with the hybrid electric Prelude concept, a departure from the anticipated all-electric model. This iconic name in Honda's history features a gas-electric drivetrain, raising questions about Honda's future EV strategies. Additionally, Honda is venturing into fuel cell electric vehicles, set to commence production in 2024. The new FCEV will be based on the acclaimed Honda CR-V model, reflecting Honda's commitment to transitioning to 100% BEVs or FCEVs by 2040, demonstrating its dedication to a sustainable automotive future. It's evident that Honda isn't alone in its cautious approach to EVs, with industry giants like Ford and GM also expressing reservations. This collective stance highlights the potential challenges posed by full electrification. While it may appear that Honda is taking a step back from the future, recent developments suggest otherwise. Innovations hint at potential engines capable of reducing emissions by a remarkable 90%. Additionally, the brand isn't completely disregarding the EV market. Partnerships, such as the one with Sony for the development of a new EV, are still in progress. However, the significant question remains: is Honda's divergence a bold move or a monumental misjudgment? In a world increasingly embracing electrification, with companies like Tesla leading the charge, Honda's departure from this path is noteworthy. Undoubtedly, EVs come with their environmental challenges, particularly concerning battery production. Honda's commitment to offering affordable mobility solutions and its approach to carbon neutrality without relying solely on EVs present an intriguing pivot. Will Honda's alternative route become the blueprint for the future, or will it be overshadowed by EV powerhouses like Tesla? Share your thoughts in the comments below. On another note, I've recently uploaded a video discussing groundbreaking news that could impact the entire EV industry. If you're interested in being truly shocked by what's about to unfold with EVs, be sure to check it out. Electric vehicle sales are experiencing a decline as General Motors has just made a surprising move by discontinuing EVs. In a bold decision that has left many EV manufacturers upset and bewildered, CEO Mary Barra has responded to public sentiment and reversed GM's electric vehicle strategy, opting to reintroduce traditional gas cars. The abrupt shift in GM's approach has raised questions about why the company abandoned EVs despite substantial investments. Speculation has arisen about potential hidden motives from EV manufacturers. What could be the secret plan behind GM CEO Mary Barra's move to bring back gas cars? Could this decision impact the electric vehicle market? If you believed that gas cars were a thing of the past, there's some reassuring information ahead. Here's the scoop. General Motors is distancing itself from electric vehicles and resisting the government's push towards EVs. Mary Barra recently declared a halt to the majority of GM's electric vehicle initiatives, aligning the company with the desire for reliable combustion cars that are more affordable and devoid of unnecessary embellishments. This shift is in response to the challenging landscape of the EV market, which resulted in GM facing substantial losses exceeding $1 billion last year. Let's rewind to 2019, when GM initially embraced the electric wave, discarding gas cars, including the popular Chevy pickups. Surprisingly, these pickups were performing well. GM was riding high on the prospects of dominating the world with the Chevy Bolt EV and the cutting-edge Ultium EV platform, but the reality turned out differently. The EV market proved to be less forgiving to GM, prompting them to re-evaluate their strategy and pivot back to the familiarity of traditional gas cars. The original game plan was to saturate the streets with these sleek electric vehicles, leaving gas guzzlers in the rearview mirror. However, things didn't unfold as smoothly as anticipated. The grand dreams of a thriving electric vehicle market hit some substantial roadblocks. The Chevy Bolt, expected to be their star EV, turned out to be more of a troublemaker, plagued by production and delivery issues. Even the highly touted Ultium-powered EVs from GM struggled, with fewer than 1,000 units sold. And then came the bombshell from GM's CEO, Mary Barra, announcing an unexpected U-turn back to gas cars. Surprisingly, gas cars have continued to enjoy robust sales, while EVs face challenges, including reports from owners citing low-quality interiors and rattling issues. If that wasn't enough, the GM CEO, Mary Barra, delivered another blow during a recent earnings call. She openly admitted that GM had incurred significant losses and expressed skepticism about ever surpassing Tesla or achieving profitability in the EV business. The company also weathered the storm of the United Auto Workers strike, incurring a hefty cost of over $750 million in just 1 week. As a consequence, GM had to offload their EVs at a substantial loss, amounting to $112,000 for each unit and even higher for certain high-range EVs. This resulted in a colossal loss of over $1 billion in their electric vehicle venture. Now, Mary Barra has completely shifted gears, essentially telling other EV manufacturers to take a step back. The general sentiment is that most consumers are unwilling to shell out $60,000 to $80,000 for a vehicle that has a limited range of 150 miles in winter and is unsuitable for towing, as stated by the GM CEO. Crafting electric vehicles, EVs, within the attractive price range of $30,000 to $40,000 seems to be an unattainable goal. This notion is rooted in the lack of profitability. Consider this scenario. They were all set to unveil the 2024 Chevy Equinox EV, proudly flaunting a $30,000 price tag. Yet now they're reconsidering, citing various challenges. One significant factor contributing to this shift is the recent tragedies involving people losing their lives in EV fires, a topic I'll delve into later in this video. Consequently, and compounded by numerous other EV-related issues, consumers are opting to stick with gas cars, particularly in the more budget-friendly price range. Here's where it gets interesting. Barr, the head honcho, openly acknowledges that Tesla, the powerhouse led by Elon Musk, is outpacing them in the EV arena. Tesla boasts superior technology, profits, and a substantial scale, leaving GM playing catch-up. In order to ensure profitability, GM is reverting to the reliable domain of gas cars, already making significant sales. In the last quarter, GM's gas car sales even surpassed Ford's, securing the top spot in America. The plot thickens as Barr discloses that the current high costs associated with manufacturing EV batteries might might delay the availability of affordable EVs for another decade. It's a challenging landscape. It's important to note that GM isn't navigating this terrain alone. Another established automaker, Ford, is also feeling the impact of the EV market downturn. To add to the mix, GM has abandoned a substantial $5 billion deal with Honda, which aimed to produce over 400,000 EVs. The winds of change are blowing in the automotive industry. Hold on, there's more to the story. GM isn't just hitting the brakes. They had ambitious plans to increase the production of their electric trucks, including the Silverado EV, at a Michigan factory. However, they've put a pause on those plans, pushing the timeline to late 2025. According to them, it's all about capital management and aligning with EV demand. But between us, it sounds like they're encountering significant challenges on the road. The challenges aren't limited to the domestic front. Even in China, GM is facing hurdles. Sales are on a downward trend, and they're struggling to keep pace with local competition. It seems like they're in a perpetual state of catch-up, with other players surging ahead in the EV race. And it's not just GM in this predicament. Ford is sailing in the same boat. They've got their share of drama, scaling back production of their prominent EV, the F-150 Lightning. Initially geared up for a substantial production run, they're now slashing those numbers in half, citing a lack of demand. Both auto giants, GM and Ford, were racing towards the EV finish line, investing billions to roll out electric vehicles. However, now it seems like they've hit a roadblock. Sales are stalling, production plans are being tossed aside, and it's turning into quite a chaotic situation. Now, let's delve into the problems these EVs are grappling with. First and foremost, there's the fire issue. Instances of EVs catching fire, leading to fatalities, have raised serious concerns. GM itself faced an incident where its EV was involved in a fatal accident, striking a woman and dragging her for a mile. Even Tesla, the major player in the EV industry, has encountered numerous cases of EVs going up in flames, presenting a challenge with no easy solutions. Hold on, unfortunately. There's more to consider. These sophisticated EV batteries struggle in colder temperatures. When the mercury drops, their range takes a hit, akin to your phone's battery on a particularly challenging day. Charging in frigid conditions? Forget about it. It becomes a waiting game, with the wait extending indefinitely just to get enough charge to reach the next station. Now, let's talk about reliability, or the lack thereof. EVs are accumulating repair issues at an alarming rate, as if repair problems are going out of fashion. If your battery decides to call it quits, be prepared to dig deep into your pockets. The cost might rival that of buying an entirely new car, all for a battery replacement. Even the Biden administration is fully committed to this cause, establishing stricter emissions norms and essentially signaling to car manufacturers to embrace electric vehicles or face the consequences. It's as if they're proclaiming, "Forget gas cars, EVs are the future, man." However, the current reality doesn't quite align with this vision. The future appears to be fraught with challenges, particularly when it comes to the reliability of EVs. Now let's touch on the cost aspect. EVs were touted as vehicles that would save us money. Yet, when you factor in explosions, hefty repair bills, and the game of hide and seek with charging stations, the promised savings become elusive. So, what's the bottom line here? EVs were meant to lead us into a cleaner, greener future, but at present they seem more like ticking time bombs on wheels. The dream of a world powered by electricity might just remain a dream. While I'm an advocate for electric cars and environmental sustainability, it's hard to ignore the sense of backpedaling. A few years ago, GM's top brass were all about ditching gas cars, asserting they were just a pit stop on the road to the EV future. Now it feels like watching someone rummage through their closet, retrieving an old flip phone because the latest smartphone keeps crashing. The timing is intriguing, especially with EV demand encountering obstacles. GM has had a rocky journey with recalls and less than stellar launches like the Hummer EV and the Blazer EV. Now, with the EV market not looking as promising as anticipated, GM is reverting to gas cars. It's a substantial reality check, not just for GM, but for the entire auto industry. Clearly, EVs have their share of issues, and perhaps we weren't as prepared as we thought. Brands are starting to grasp this reality, but when will the government catch on?